Alright guys, so before the video starts, there is a link to a giveaway that they're doing, that Elitech is doing. I'll leave it in the description. You just have to click on the link. It takes you to a form. You're going to fill out your name, email address, and I think your physical address in case you win. They know where to send it. So do that. I also have a discount code that's going to be HVACR5 if you want to go on their website and buy something. And they also do bundles. So if you buy, I think it's like 3 of their products, there's going to be a page. I'll put it down below also. You get discounts if you buy in bundles. So all that'll be down there. Good luck on the giveaway. And yeah. All right, so we just got in the Elitech Digital Manifold PT500/800. So basically, they're not really manifolds. They're standalone pressure gauges for the low and high side. Also comes with temperature clamps. You can use the reading on the gauge itself or hook up to their app, and you'll get extra features on that. So let's take a look. Comes in a nice little hard case. And here we go. Manual. And of course they have a bunch of other stuff. Digital manifolds, leak detectors, scales, pumps, and some other stuff. Here are the gauges themselves. So these are like the size of a gauge on the manifold. Something similar, but you don't need the whole manifold. Comes with everything you need. The little coupler. And you can hook up some temperature clamps. And they give you a charging tee, it looks like. We got power. Right, so these are battery powered. You're gonna have 3 AA batteries, and you get a nice indicator for that. Couplers. These are gonna be little connections, and you get a temperature reading right there in the upper corner. 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So one of the cool things is they do have the stubby piece on there. So you just want to hook up real quick, or if you need a little room to extend the gauge out, maybe that doesn't fit somewhere and it's too tight, you got a coupler. So you would put that in there, and then that one has a depressor. That one has a depressor, so cool little option there. And like I said, charging tee. The clamps are pretty thin, decent. They are wired. Not a bad little setup. If you're looking into probes and you don't like that you need a phone or tablet to use them, this is a cool in-between. It's technically a gauge standalone, but you don't need your phone to take readings. You just hook it up, quick reading, and you're done. All right guys, and just to give you an overview on the the product itself, it has 3 buttons, and this is the PT500 low side gauge, so it goes up to 500 psi. The high side gauge is the PT800, so it goes up to 800 psi, just so you guys know. And it has 3 buttons right here. They each have a single press function and a long hold function. So what's on the button is what's the single press. So like quickly tap it, it turns on, and it's on in a couple seconds. So then you have, if you're going to be using the wireless function, you want to tap the wireless function also. You get a little indicator there. And then units, well, this is a backlight first and foremost. It's a blue light. You can turn it on and off. Backlight is great. It works really well. Now, long holding this one will cycle through the units. There's a lot, so I don't want to cycle through them because then I got to go through the whole list to get back to PSI. Long holding this one, you see how it's 1.2. So there it's zeroed out. If I hold it, and then this one's to record. I'm not going to be recording anything. I just use these to check pressure and how the system is doing. Like I said, these are single press. So the one problem I had with the Testo ones, because I had the Testo probes first because I liked how short they were. I had the second gen. They were always turning on in my bag just by me hitting it, and it tapped on the power button, because those were they poked out a bit and it was easy to push the button. These at least are like flush, so they're not poking out really, so it's going to be hard to tap that, but it is a tap to turn on and off. Just so you guys are aware of that. And it from what I understand, it does not auto turn off, because I had these pressure testing overnight and it never turned off. The battery is still showing that it's full because it takes 3 AA batteries. So leaving them on is not a huge issue because it'll obviously last. But just so you guys know how that works. All right, and just so you guys know, it's going to show you the PSI obviously and the temperature in the top corner. You cannot pick a refrigerant, so it's not going to show you the saturation temperature on this display. It's also not going to give you the superheat because of that. So this is strictly for readings on the input, so just PSI and clamp temperature. Does not do superheat, does not do saturation temperature. And also in the app you can, like I said, check the superheat and all that. It kind of unlocks all those features because you can pick the refrigerant. Also, what I noticed that it has a like low, average, and high as far as the PSI, so it's good to tell if you're tripping out on the safety, whether it's low or high. It'll tell you what it peaked at, and it'll tell you what your average PSI has been. So it's good if you step away from it and you need to go back and kind of see something, maybe something tripped. You can see if it prematurely tripped or if it tripped at the right PSI that it should have been, just because it gives you those low and high readings. So let's see what these are at. 449. Now it is the morning, so as you all know, the nitrogen does change with the temperature. So I want to say after an hour, because when I did this, it was the hottest time of day in the afternoon. Did go up to 463, I believe, then back to 455 in the evening, and now in the morning we are at 449, but that's good enough for me. Just had to torque these down significantly, make sure there's no thread or not much of it visible. That way you know you're all the way in, because if not, it'll leak. So these are ready for me. I'm gonna take them in today to do a system check, and we'll see how the clamps do and everything. And we're going to be using the couplers. I think that's the best way that I can fit them in. And these were left in overnight, over the afternoon, because I did this in the middle of the day and it's the morning, like I said. And the battery indicator says that we're still full. So the battery lasts on it. It does, I don't know, I have to see if it has an auto off function, but if not, that's fine, because one of the things I do hate is when some of this equipment just shuts off on you when you're away from the system and you want to connect to it through Bluetooth, but it's off. You have to go manually turn it back on and then deal with that. But if these stay on, I'm not gonna be mad at it. It's just something you have to take into account when you use them, that you have to shut them off. All right, so I haven't had a chance to use them yet. It's lunchtime, so obviously temperature goes up, the pressure goes up on nitrogen, so we are good. I'm gonna use these. It's been fluctuating with the temperature outside, or in my van, should I say. But I trust them now, so let's use them. Alright, so that's what it looks like. One with the coupler, one with just the straight stubby. And we got readings on both. Now we can read them like this, or we can use the app. So clamps are on. We'll see if we got a good connection. And we'll see what it tells us. We're gonna go into the Elitech app. It's gonna search for your devices. We have one, you have to add the second. And then we're good. So let me screen record this. So basically we got 138 and 409. We're on 410 up in the corner. And then you're gonna have your saturation temperatures right here. And then this is gonna be your clamp temperature right here. So 63, 109. And then superheat and subcool. Now I noticed that it doesn't work right away, so always select your refrigerant. So it's already selected, but let me select it again, and that fixes that. So I don't know, that might be a little glitch or a bug. So now we have the proper saturation temperatures, and we have a superheat that is fluctuating around 14 to 16, it looks like. Our subcooling is fluctuating, I think I saw it down to 5 to 8. So we might have a refrigerant issue. The coils should be clean. They're cleaned every 6 months. The filters looked clean, and they were the cheap ones that don't really filter out much. So we're going up to 9, but we're going high on superheat. So we might have issues there. Now let's jump to the next one. And if we can get them a little more efficient, we'll do that today. That does not work. So always wear gloves. Main thing I learned several years back. I had some refrigerant come out because I wanted to check subcooling at the same time. And yeah. So this actually happened to the other coupling. The other coupler. And it was going to be in my con, you know, of the pros and cons. So we're using this real life, you know, so you guys can decide on your purchase, and I'll be your guinea pig. So the gaskets fall out easy on these, and the charging tee, while it looks awesome and everything, because I love that it has the caps that are hooked on, and you know, it seems durable. This one does have the gasket in it, but it still leaks to the back. I didn't have the best luck with this product. I do like it, but I'm going to show you like what I had to do to make it work. and I'm gonna go over the pros and cons. So, the thing with these gauges, from what I could tell, they are awesome because they are wireless, but they have a display. So you do not need your phone or tablet to use them. So that's one of my gripes with like the Fieldpiece and the Testos and others like that, is you absolutely need to use a phone or something to use them. Now my phone overheats a lot. I mean, I know I'm recording and doing other things with my phone, which make it worse, but just in general, it's over 100 degrees. My phone overheats. Sometimes I can't use it. Or if it is working in the heat, it starts to slow down. That's just the way the electronics work. That's the way phones work. I get frustrated sometimes when I'm trying to pull up the app and it's taking a while to load, or it has to reload, or I can't maybe see the display. My screen might dim if it's overheated. So I'm there trying to, like, you know, cover it and check it. So that's always been my gripe. I told Fieldpiece that if they just made a display, a small display on it, on their pressure probes, the way they do on their micron gauge, where it's, I mean, I know it's bigger, but it's the micron gauge is the same idea, but it has a display to show microns. So you can use it wirelessly or just looking at it. This one is cool because it is wireless and you can just look at it, which I think is great for quick service, quick system checks, like what I was doing with it today. So if you just want to know if the system is what numbers you have on the pressures, just hook it up and you can see it and disconnect it. Just a quick on and off thing. And if you want to monitor it and check superheat and all that, you can use the clamps. So put that on there. And what I like is you can walk away with your phone and check it. Now, the thing with the app, I only had one bug with the app, or maybe two. When I'm out of the app for too long, or I use a couple of other apps, and then I go back in, I have to reconnect to the pressure gauges. So I go back in, and it just says reconnecting. You have to click on one, and it shows up the home page with the gauges, and you got to add the second one, because it'll only add the first one at first, and then you add the second one afterwards. And then the other glitch, which this one is a glitch. No matter what, like I was checking 410 today, and I already had it on 410 selected. It started showing me like that it's 300 degrees on both sides or something like that, something crazy. You don't have to change the refrigerant, but you have to go to where it says like 410, like in my case in the top right corner. I had to hit 410. I thought I had to change things, but you don't. You just hit 410. When it pulls up the selection of all the refrigerants, you don't have to do anything. You just hit save, and then it goes back out, and it's fixed. Literally, you don't have to do anything. You just have to go in and out of it, and then it gives you the right saturation temperatures. So the pressures are fine. It's just the temperatures do not load up right. You have to go in and out of selecting the refrigerant, even if you're not changing the refrigerant, just so you get a proper reading. So that's a little glitch that I found. Other than that, I didn't have any issues with them, and they read rather fine. These temperature clamps actually work pretty well. I got used to the rapid rail on the Fieldpiece, but these are more like the Testo ones. But I had issues with the Testo ones. These seem to work fine. I put it on the pipe, I move it around, it adapts and reads quickly. I did not have good luck with the Testo clamps for some reason, but these work fine. So continuing on with the pros and cons. Like I said, I do like the gauges themselves. It's just I had issues with a lot of their fittings. So this is the coupler that it comes with, right? It actually burst on me during my pressure test, and I lost the gasket, I think. So I still had one good one. I put it on the high side so I could use it, and guess what happened? It popped out again with some high side pressure. So these couplers, sorry to say, they're no good. I'm gonna try and take it apart, see if it's repairable or not, but basically it builds up pressure, and I guess when I take it off, it pops out that way. I didn't see it anywhere, so I don't know what happened to it, but it is missing the gasket inside. And this is supposed to be their charging tee, which I really liked it. I wanted to like it. It looks really cool. I like that the caps are attached to it, so when you take it off, you don't lose your caps. You can always have them on there, and it felt really good. But this one, the gasket stayed in fine. It doesn't look right. This one I'm gonna see if I can take it apart also. It basically leaks from the back. So it's like the gasket's not sealing properly or not sitting right. So unfortunately the charging tee is also not good, at least not out of the box. So with the gauge itself, you need to attach adapters, right? So you got this one that you need to put on there so that you can use the coupler, right? If you need that angled support. But if you don't use the coupler, you need to use a different fitting that they give you. I mean, I'm happy that they tried to include everything. I have issues with mine. Now mine could be defective. I don't know. I will reach out to them and tell them the problems that I had with them. So this is the other one that they give you. This is basically like a stubby because it's the fitting that you need just to attach the gauge itself and put it on there. Unfortunately, these leak too. Now I was able to fix them, but hand tight leaks bad. A couple of turns with the wrench, it still leaks bad. And you basically have to, and that's why mine is scuffed up a little bit, you have to tighten it all the way down to where you cannot see the threads, or you see one or two of the first lines of thread. And that's the only way that it seals. So I did show a pressure test with the stubby on there, and it takes a lot of force though. That's the only thing I don't like. It takes a lot of force, basically turning it until it will not turn anymore, which I don't think is very intuitive. Like if I want to be changing between these two, because like what if I need the coupler? I don't want to be forcing it that much, and then like it kind of tired me out a little bit in the sun doing it, because I did it on the spot for one of them, because I was going to use the coupler like I said, because I thought maybe the first one was bad and this one was good, and they were both bad. Alright guys, so we had to switch the angle. My phone cannot take the heat by the window. So I would just say, like I said, it's not very intuitive to be changing out these pieces to be using the coupler. So like if you want to use a coupler, you got to change out to this piece so that you have the 1/4 inch, to fit it. So it's not going to be interchangeable, so to speak. So what I would recommend is, or what I'm going to be doing is just keeping the stubby on there. And then if I need an angle, I carry a lot of these and I buy a lot of these just to have around. Yellow jacket ball valve adapters. So you can put these on there and it gives you a little extension, and it's still pretty slim, and then you got a shut off valve if you need it, especially for the high side. So that would be my recommendation. Tighten the hell out of that fitting, stubby fitting. Get yourself a ball valve adapter, and that'll work out, I think, great. And as far as the charging tees, these are the ones that I use. They should be in my tool link. If not, I'll double check right now and make sure that they're in there when the video's up. This is a charging tee. I usually leave one open, which is to the hose. That way I can tap in with a pressure probe if I need to. And with that, you can have a setup for charging without a manifold if you need to add refrigerant or whatever. So it'll connect to that versus theirs that leaks. I'm gonna see if I can repair it, but if it's not worth it, I'm not gonna do anything with it. All right guys, so now after all that, would I recommend this product? So yes and no. The answer is going to be yes and no. So as pressure gauges and temperature clamps, they work fine. They work perfectly fine. You saw me do superheat and subcool, check pressures really quick just by hooking up and getting the display to give me the pressure. I didn't need a phone or anything like that. for most of it, just to quickly check something. So I love that part. That's the one thing, if you get a probe from like Fieldpiece or Testo or something, you absolutely need your phone or a tablet or something to connect to it. You will not get a reading without it. So that's why I usually have analogs as a backup, but it's nice to have these. They're digital. They fit in your bag, so they would fit in an MB2, MB3 bag. That's what I have. I can see them fitting in an open bag, open tool bag. Just putting them in there, they're gonna be like little stubbies. A lot of guys do the analog stubbies, so this is just like a digital version that if you want to, you can connect to your phone if you need to walk away from the unit. So like I said, as gauges, as temperature clamps, checking superheat, subcool, doing a system check, having basically some analogs in your tool bag without having to carry the whole analog set or your S-mans or whatever you guys are rocking. You can have this literally just in your tool bag. If you need to check them, pull them out. If you don't, you know, they fit in the bag perfectly fine. They don't take up too much space or anything. So for that, yes. Now for the other stuff that they give you, the couplers, the charging tee, and even, like I said, the little like actual stubby parts that you need. The stubby parts, you can put them on. Just make sure you tighten them and pressure test them. So if you have them on the system or whatever, you might hear it. If not, use the bubbles and just make sure that you're good. Like I did a nitrogen test with mine because it failed on me in the field. So that's the route that I went. And once I was able to hold the pressure where I wanted to, around 450, then I felt comfortable using them. So just make sure those are on tight. I did use Nylog too. And then the couplers failed on me and the charging tee failed. So if you're gonna use these gauges, hopefully mine were defective. I don't know yet. I will talk to them, see what they have to say about it. If not, you're gonna if it happens to you, you're gonna have to get your own couplers that you trust at your supply house, and service tee. Like I said, I'll have a description for that, a link for that stuff in my tool link. If it's not there, I'll update it. As far as the charging tees that I use, and I prefer to use the yellow jacket ball valve adapters, like I said. So you can use those in you know, with these pressure gauges, and just I trust them, so that's how I'm going to use them. It's just that I don't want to say that they're bad products, but the product itself is nice. It's just the fittings are like probably no-name brand couplers and fittings, so they just didn't work well. So if you guys are going to buy the kit, just you might have an extra expense buying these other things to make them work. So that's why I'm testing them. I will be the guinea pig. When I get stuff to review, I have to use them in the field, because if I don't use them in the field, I don't know about these problems, right? I don't know that I wouldn't have known that they didn't work with the fittings. I wouldn't have known that the gaskets blew. I wouldn't have known all that stuff. So I have to use them in the field. Basically, my stipulation is always like, yeah, as long as I can show them in the field. I'm not going to be in an office at a desk or anything unboxing stuff. I got to make sure that they work. They are around 150 bucks, I think, last time I checked. So they're decent for what they are. Because if you want to go to probes from like Fieldpiece and Testo, those are like 250 or so. And those don't give you a display. So that's the one thing that these have that I wish those other companies had, was a actual display on the unit, so that you don't need your phone. And they're not compatible with MeasureQuick. If you guys use MeasureQuick only really works with Fieldpiece, Testo, and there was another brand I think they picked up. So you have to use the Elitech app. It is fine. It just has that one glitch where you have to go in and out of the refrigerant, even if you're not going to change it, just to make sure you have the correct saturation temperature. I have an iPhone. I don't know if it's an iPhone problem. I don't know if it's just my phone. Maybe I have to reinstall the app. I don't know. If you guys, a couple of you guys have said that you had these exact gauges. So if you have them and you've been using them, let me know if they worked out of the box for you, or if you had any issues with them. Like I said, maybe I got defective ones, but if it happens to me, I want to make sure that you guys know in case you guys buy them and it's the same issue. So yeah, hope it helped. I know some of you guys said that you've been looking at these gauges. I don't want to deter you or influence you into buying them. this is what happened with me. I do think they're great. They need work on some of the pieces that come in the case, and the case itself is not great. If you guys use the cases to carry the equipment, it's kind of a thin plastic. I usually, gauges, probes, and stuff like that, I usually don't use the case. But like for my leak detector and different things that are more sensitive electronics, I do use the case. So I like when they have a hard case. This one, like I said, is a little flimsy. And don't forget to enter the giveaway. Use a discount if you guys do end up wanting to try them out for yourself. And yeah, thank you Elitech. Even though I had issues, hopefully we can continue working together, because I do love a lot of your products. And like I said, Ryan from HVAC has done some reviews and he's had good luck with their products. Like I said, thank you Elitech for sending these out. If you guys, I don't know if they're gonna send me anything else, so we'll see what happens, man. So hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys.